So we're going to go for a couple of sweeps, or one sweep, and just to use the same position then to set up the arm lock, okay? So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to have our opponent in that basic posture position here like this. So depending on what my opponent does, will be what I do with my legs. So if my opponent is like down here, like so, I really want to have my legs nice and high and continue to like walk them so that they're collapsing his posture and keeping him down. Okay, so I use my knees for that purpose. But if my opponent's sitting back here, if I start to climb my legs now at this stage, you can see that it becomes very, very difficult for me to do that. So in fact, I think about putting my feet on the ground when I do this. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First one is obviously if your opponent is wide, they're a bit narrower at the hips, hopefully, okay? So if you start climbing with the back here like this, it's going to be difficult for you to keep your legs there. The second reason is so I can actually almost kind of lift my hips off the ground here, and that creates a little extra weight on your opponent here, okay? Which is good for you, okay? So your opponent is going to have like hand forward, grip here, like looking to try and pass your guard. Just sit back for a moment, yeah. So here, and like usually like one hand on the pants, and always like with his elbow inside my guard here like this, inside my leg. So if I just like start to like do any sweep or any position like this in this position, your opponent can pass and begin to bring his knee up quite easily. So you've got a couple of problems you have to deal with. I almost never bother gripping this or like trying to break the grip on the pants because first of all, it's really difficult to do. It's very hard. And the second thing is really to get that out of the way. All I need to do is get his elbow on the outside of my knee. Okay, so all I really need to do with that is make sure the elbow's on the outside and I can attack most of the positions that I have. So really the problem is here. So let's do a very, very simple grip break. What I really want is that this hand is here, okay? So I'm going to pick the side that I want, and this time it's the mirror side. So again, just for definitions, guys, we've got mirror, we've got crossover, okay? Wherever talking. So when I take the mirror grip here like this, I'm going to make a nice good hook grip on his sleeve here like this, but I want to break this. I'm going to wrap underneath to create the 2-on-1 like the Kimura here. Again, if I go 1-on-1, it's impossible to break, right? 2-on-1, much better. From here, I'm going to bridge up, and as I drop down, punch. And now, when I take this hand away, I have a good control here. Okay? My next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach for his pants down at the bottom and make a legal grip. When I do this and I have this grip here, I'm going to put this back here on my belly. I don't want to like play with it like in midair. Okay? Here. I'm going to grip for his pants here like this. When I go now, I'm going to get you guys to do like everything at once. Stamp this foot to block his foot here, to stop his foot from moving. Lift your hips up into the air. Create this like a massive like axe kick with this far leg. Pull on his leg at the same time. Don't worry, I'm going to show all this again. Pull on his leg at the same time, and then bring him to the side. So up. Come to the top. Look from the other side. So he's going to grip here, not your jacket. Mirror grip. Lift. Break. Stick that back down here. We don't want to play in the air with his hand. Grip. When we go here, we can't put our hands inside the pants. Okay? It's illegal grip. It's also illegal to put your hand inside anybody's pants at any stage of their life. Okay? So you've got to practice by making a good pocket grip here at the ankle. Stamp your foot to block his hip and to lift yours. Okay? So I'm stamping this foot, lifting. You can see what that does? Now the posture is broken. When I do this now, I want you to think about going underneath this armpit, here like this. Okay? But with your hips, not just with your leg. The last piece of the puzzle is to stretch this leg. Look what that does to him there. Now, we follow him up, and we come to the top. One more time. So our sequence is mirror grip, two hand, lift, break, catch the foot, stamp the foot, lift your hips, and now like an axe with a straight leg to the far side. When he's falling, guys, he should look like, with his leg and his arm, that's the leg I'm catching, he should look like Superman. And that's really how the sweep works, yeah? Good to go, try that. Most of you have done before. Let's go, 3, 2, 1. What I like to do, the guard is great, you know, for attacking submissions, and everybody likes to submit people from the bottom. It's really a really attractive part of Jiu Jitsu. The problem is that as your opponents get better, it becomes harder to do that. And the top becomes more and more important. So from here, everything the same here. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt the sweep to off balance him, and that's going to give me what I want, which is the submission attempt, okay? So from here, I'm going to keep this nice and tight, and I need to like close my arm here, like my own elbow here. And this is one of the things I notice, like get people's arms up here like this, and this just ends you up in this strengthy arm fight, which is not going to be good. But if you can pin here like this and go, this is good for you, okay? When I go here now to trying to start to sweep, and I get to here, and my opponent like feels heavy and makes space like and balances, I'm going to take my hand off and wrap over the other side here. Okay. Okay, so I'm going over the top of the arm to the tricep. Now the thing about it here is I'm not quite on angle yet to try and just like lift my leg, and the big mistake that people make is like trying to like wrap their leg here before they're really ready. So I'm going to give you 2 options. 1, stamp on the hip and watch my foot now. Really clamp. As though I'm doing triangle. His arm is coming with me, and from here now. Good business. Okay? So that's option 1. Okay? Let's just do option 1 for now, and actually I'll come back. What I actually don't really like when we do this is to see people use their foot on the mat to come around. For me, that's a bit pedestrian, and it doesn't really create any pressure on your opponent. So I much prefer to see the foot clamped here, because now when I lift my hips, look, I create this great pressure. He's under threat all the time, and he can't just step around and follow me with this leg. I'll just go with him, you can see. Whereas I put my foot on the mat here, potentially, like, I definitely release some pressure. You can see that, right? So from here, I'm attacking the sweep now. He's not going to go. Switch my hand grip here like this. Now move to the angle, and the leg should be easy up and over. Here. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your leg, your top leg on the head, and the mistakes that people make. If this leg is bent, now you're going to look at me and say, Barry, your leg was bent. Yes, but in a certain way, okay? What I don't want to do is bend my leg to get it over. Okay, there are certain angles where that's going to work. It's not like all the time. When you go here, your leg will come up and use your hip to go over his neck, not your knee. So don't bend your leg over here. You guys just got to power back in with his head. Very easy for him. Okay? Switch. That's my hamstring, and it's like bonk. To the side of his head. We've done this before with some arm lock stuff where we've called it the honk position, you know, where you like hit him on the nose. In this position here, what I'm going to try to aim to do is get my hamstring just above his ear and not on his neck. Next thing I do, if I go on his neck, look how strong his head is here. Very easy for him to switch to the side. So, top of his ear, just as much as you need to, that your leg isn't going to slip off. So like as high as you dare. And that way, you're going to manipulate his head away. And this arm lock is really finished by his head being pushed away while you pull his arm towards you. So here, so there's a push that way and a stretch that way. So let's have a look. A break. Go on the attack. Base. Foot goes to the hip. Hand goes to the outside. Create more of an angle. And there's your finish. Is everybody happy with that, yeah? All good? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. A couple of, actually 3 people asked me about the grip, so we'll do the same. So, different questions. So, just get here. So we got all the way here, and we have tricep control and wrist control. And people, there was 2 questions. One was like, when do I let go of the tricep? Okay, and short answer is like, I think about it this way: tricep is for setting up, wrist is for finishing. So I really like to be 2 hands on the wrist to finish, because it means I can manipulate and turn if I'm struggling to finish. And I think that the wrist is much better control. You have to remember that as soon as you start to go here, your instinct, if you were him, would be get my elbow out. So see, he goes here and like pulls the elbow out now. That's the end of the arm lock, no matter how good a control I have on the wrist. So I need the elbow inside. So when I go here, like this, from here now, if I'm gonna take one hand off, okay, this is helpful here, but it's gonna be this one, because the wrist I can keep pulling with, whereas the tricep is not as good a grip, and like the further away from his body you get, the weaker he is, so the wrist is always for me like a better control. So if I wanna like push his head out of the way, I'll go here, okay? The other question was about crossing your feet. So crossing your feet isn't wrong all the time. I prefer to see this and this weight here with this leg going down. Once I cross my feet, I can't put that weight on the head anymore. But if I cross them this way, yeah, maybe I can. But for me, I don't cross my feet at all in this position. I just think it's like, look at the gap there. I can't put that weight that I need on his ear anymore. So for me, pinch your knees and heavy leg here is much more important than crossing your feet. I think like there's times to cross your feet, there's times you want to like secure position, stuff like that, but not with this arm work. Okay. So this will answer somebody else's question, and it's the next part of the technique anyway. What about when I can't get my leg over his head? He crowds in here like this. So this is what we're going to do. This is to me is he's going to like tuck his head down here, and I'm afraid to like bring him here. So from here, this is when we're going to use our pendulum. So the guy is stuffing in with his head, and you can't get here like this. Instead of trying to like push his head out of the way, I'm going to keep good contact on his arm here, and now I'm going to use my leg like momentum. So from here to come up. Okay. So I'm going to like pedal my way around the corner. So this usually happens when the guy like almost like stacks you. So from here, come forward here. So I've got no space here until I generate a little momentum with it. If you watch me just without park, it's kind of thinking about going on 1, 2, 3, just around the corner. We're just going to use this. You're going to use obviously your leg that's underneath the armpit to like drive them over, but the other one's going to like circle out and like open your hip up. You can actually see what I'm doing there. It's not clear enough yet. So when I go here, he's stuffing, he's stuffing. You could sometimes like anchor him here if you hug his leg as well. And notice again that whatever hand comes off is going to be the one that's on the tricep. So from here, I attack, he stuffs. He's going here. I can't get my leg out, or he's trying to like stack me, pick me right up, go on your feet. From here now, this is a difficult position. If I hook his leg and use my leg for momentum, I can finish there. Everybody want to give that a shot? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. All right. It's loaded question time. Yeah. What's the most important part of an armbar? No one's going to fucking answer now because they all know it's a trick question. Anyone? Wrist?
Elbow.
Okay, nobody wants to answer now. It's no, because they know it's not right. I was just saying, I say this all the time, the most important part of an armbar is straightening their arm. Right? Because people are, oh, is it the leg over the face? Is it this? Is that? Is it? So, no, there's plenty of positions where you don't have any of that, but you still manage to straighten the guy's arm, and you know, he has to tap, or B, he has to respect it. So very often we do this position, when we do a close your armbar, or any other armbar for that matter. Like we spoke about this from the mountable armbar a few weeks ago, that people go to the arm lock and let the person like cinch their hands because, well, I'm in the arm lock position, but the guy's arm isn't in danger because he's like manages to set up his escape. So when we're doing this here, keep the arm straight and just keep the arm under attack. And even if you don't get the armbar, he has to respect it and you might get something else. So you're going to keep him under submission, like the attack is always on. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'm attacking, that means he has to defend, he has to respect it. But whereas a lot of times, I think, especially when you're a beginner, is when you go for like armbar here like this, it's going to be one of two things. Either you get the armbar or he gets a guard pass. Do you understand what I mean? So in other words, I do this and the guy goes, whee, and he goes to the side. And you see that with the triangle as well. So I have to keep him under pressure, and the easiest way to do that is make sure that his arm is always under threat. If his arm's under threat, he's not thinking about passing, he's not thinking about defending, he's going to think, uh-oh, if I make a mistake here, I'm going to have a problem. So once you've broken the grip here, keep this arm stretched and pulled away. So this tension is always on here like this. Whereas a lot of times you see the guy, I'm going to attack the armbar, but I'm going to let this guy like get his grip here first and do all that. I wouldn't do it like now. We'll go back, stretch it again. Now, he's in trouble. The arm is stretched out here like this. Every movement I'm making as well, I'm thinking about like pulling his arm further and further away. So like always think about like stretching his arm away. I want him to be pulled out of his shoulder socket, not just like extended at the elbow. I want him to like feel the pressure at the back shoulder. I use my leg for that, use my hand, my grip, anytime I adjust, I use that, I push his head away for that, and that's where we're going to get the armbar, not by levering underneath his hip, but like pulling it out of the socket, keeping it constantly straight. He's ruined that whole section there by not like making any comments. Disaster. So say, oh no, wrong answer. Hey, I'm going to be smart, Dars. Any other questions on that before we move on? Okay, nice one. Okay, we're going to start from close guard today. Just sparring, regular sparring, in short rounds. So we're going to do 2 minutes top, 2 minutes bottom with the same partner, and then change around. Happy enough? Okay, from closed. Let's go.